progress.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Village of Cottage Grove Village Board of Trustees meeting. It is Tuesday, unusual day, but we celebrated MLK Day yesterday, and now we're back to work here. This meeting is on Zoom as well as in the room here in Village Hall. The Zoom link is at the top of the agenda. There's also an audio call-in number as well. With that, we have a quorum. The agenda was properly posted, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, then, we have public appearances. This is public's opportunity to speak on any subject. If you are from the public, we just wish that you share your name, your address, your municipality, and hold your comments to no more than 3 minutes, in case we have a lot of folks who would like to speak. With that, I'll pause for either in the room or on Zoom to have anyone speak if they wish. Next, then, we'll move to discuss and consider our meeting minutes from a regular village board meeting held on December 18th. Any questions, comments, edits in regards to the meetings as presented? Or a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, then, to approve the meeting minutes as presented. Any further discussion? Having heard none, all those in favor, then?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Motion carries. Next, then, we have the swearing in of one of our officers. Dr. Jordan and Chief and Lisa.
Evening. I present before you Officer Jordan Schultz. He's a newest member to our agency. He was hired in August of 2023, attended Madison Area College through the Law Enforcement Academy. Successfully completed that in December and started his field training with our agency right away in December. Currently working third shift. Comes from a family that has a long history of dedication to the community and service, and has been a great addition to our agency. So at this time, I ask Clerk Coletta to come on up and give the oath, please.
And if you can repeat after me. I, Jordan Schultz,
I, Jordan Schultz,
who has been appointed to the office of police officer
who has been appointed to the office of police officer
with the Village of Cottage Grove,
with the Village of Cottage Grove,
Dane County, Wisconsin,
Dane County, Wisconsin,
pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute
pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute
62.13 paren 3,
62.13 parent 3,
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge my duties of police officer to the best of my ability.
and will faithfully discharge my duties of police officer to the best of my ability.
All right. If I could just get your signature here, please.
Thank you. Congratulations and welcome aboard again. Thank you.
All right. Next, then, we have unfinished business. This is discuss and consider the contract for the purchase of a ladder truck for the fire department.
I can talk.
All right, thanks, Rick.
So basically, Reliant is acting as sort of like the mediator between Pierce, the manufacturer of the truck. So the village board authorized moving forward with this. We reviewed the contract, the town's attorney reviewed the contract, did some back and forth with them. So essentially, one thing I just want to take note of, the price is locked in with one sort of caveat. There's a inflationary sort of provision in there that says if a certain index that's related to manufacturing, if it exceeds 5% in any year, then the price will increase on the percentage above that 5%. So the price is locked in, but it could increase. But there are ways to get out if the price increases too much, but there's a penalty involved. But the fact is there's no money down. It's like a 4-year lead time for the truck. So both sides are sort of doing a little bit of unknown by entering into the agreement just because you don't know when you're going to get the truck, but they're locking in the price with that one caveat.
All right, thanks, Rick. Chief, I don't know if you want to, you popped in, so I don't know if you want to say anything else, since you've been involved in this as well. Yep,
Yeah.
please. Just make sure you turn on the mic so that they can hear you on the Zoom.
Yeah, so I just came in case you guys had any more questions. I sat through with Rick and the town attorney for that meeting, and it sounds like they kind of worked out what they were looking for. The town voted on it last night, and they approved it subject to you guys, your approval, I guess. So it's kind of up to whatever you guys want to do.
Okay, thanks, Chief. Any questions for Chief? Or any?
Just to be clear, so the price paid for by each municipality is the price, or how much we're gonna pay is based on what we are when we get the price now, right? Does that make sense? Did I just throw a bunch of words?
So
together?
it's on delivery.
It's okay. It's based
Yeah.
on delivery.
Correct.
So if the contract between us and the town changes between now and then, the percentages could change.
No.
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 We would have to like specifically address it in the contract. So, if there are further negotiations at some point, we'd have to remember, and we wanted to change the percentage for this truck, that would have to be specifically negotiated in the next agreement.
I mean, Rick, I appreciate all the hard work in examining this, but I feel strongly we need a ladder truck. Because the current ones, I won't say it's nickel and diming us, but I mean, it having issues, right? It's getting older, right? And so I think understanding that the price could go up, I mean, there's still yet no cheaper time to sign than today.
Yeah, and to be fair, Frank, I wasn't saying don't approve it, just
Right.
making sure everybody
Absolutely.
understood.
No, I get that. I think it's nice to know what the risks are going in,
Mhm.
right? So difference between do you think or do you know? But I still think that aside, I still think we should sign for it.
The CPI deal or the whatever index they're using, is it 5% per year or 5% in 4 years? And that's
It's
almost
an
certainly
average
gonna
of
be
5% per year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And based on the information they told us, it's only exceeded that twice since World War II. So,
We are in strange times.
well, one was 2 years ago. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the contract to purchase the ladder truck as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Having heard none, all those in favor then?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Thanks, Chief, for popping in. All right, next then we move on to new business, and the first up there is discuss and consider conducting the village board meetings virtually when they occur on the Monday prior to Election Day, and that obviously would mean that this room, as well as the new polling station, will be set up the prior day probably. Anything to add, Lisa? I know we've done this before, but.
No, nothing to add, just kind of making it standing so that we don't have to do this each and every election going forward. It's just almost impossible to have a meeting in here and set up for Election Day.
Any questions from board members?
Just on the polling station, it kind of tangentially related to this, is what happens if someone shows up here, like me, if I showed up here to vote, but I'm supposed to, could I vote, or would you kick me over to the other joint?
We cannot allow you to vote because the, actually the Badger books aren't gonna be programmed, so they're only gonna be specific for the wards that are going to be, at Village Hall. So we would redirect you and say, you need to go to your polling location. And that happens even with other residents, not even from the village. A lot of times we'll get town or even the city of Madison, believe it or not.
Sure.
That will come here, thinking that they can vote here because it was just easier.
I just think there's gonna be a lot of people that come here. In April.
Probably, and we're gonna do our best to get that message out to everyone, to make sure you check your polling location. They can do that by My Vote very easily once the ballots are out, and it will tell them exactly where their polling location is.
And I checked, and and even I could figure out how to.
I checked too.
Yeah.
I checked too.
It's easy.
I'll make a motion to approve holding village board meetings virtually prior to election days.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second then. Any further discussion? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Motion carries. Next then, we're gonna move right to reports from village boards, commissions, committees, starting off with the fire. David, I think? Sorry, Vince.
Yeah.
Gotta get
let's
that
see.
right.
So we met on December 19th. No public appearances, chief's report, pretty standard stuff. We discussed the quote on ladder 1 to be delivered in 28. We approved it there, and it came back obviously tonight. Just some various operational items that are kind of things, little things we talk about, but nothing major other than that. The next meeting is scheduled for January 22nd, 6:30. Questions? A short meeting.
All right, thanks, Vince. Next then, library board. David.
Yeah, Tracy was very kind to send me some bullet points to cover on, make this streamlined. So at our last meeting, the library board approved a diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and belonging in community statement, or policy, I should say. The policy will guide programming decisions, services, and communications going forward, so I was really excited to approve that. Tracy facilitated a library programming workshop in that meeting. We discussed what went well in 23, 76 programs, over 3,000 attendees, what can be improved, and what programming priorities will be in 2024. In addition to youth programming that was successful, the library will provide more enriching programs for adults and utilize the expertise of tweens and teens in Cottage Grove. For example, having GDS, GSA do face painting during welcoming schools reading. And I'll also note that my brother and I will also do grilling in the Grove again, so I expect all of you to come, and I'll feed you all. It'll be a good time. I think we're going to double it. I think we'll do 50 people this time, so shameless plug there. So, the library board will spend the first part of 2024 engaged in strategic planning and create a path forward, knowing the financial realities of the village. These discussions will happen during regular board meetings, and anyone is welcome to attend. And then they also asked me to highlight a program, so featured program. So February is Rare Disease Month. The library board is hosting a rare disease story time on February 20th with Rare Wisconsin and CI Therapies. The goal of the program is to help kids understand genetic differences, foster empathy and understanding for the 1 in 10 Wisconsinites with a rare genetic condition. Any questions? No? Thanks.
Thanks, David. Next then, we have Deer Grove EMS. I'll take a swing at this, and then Brittany, you can jump in, or if Chief's on too, wherever he might be. We met on December 21st, covered the normal items around the financials, the billing, et cetera. Had the chief's report, just noting a few things there, fairly minor, most things going as planned. Then talked a bit more about the intergovernmental agreement. Very close to that, there was some edits suggested around potential when a community wants to, say, join the district. to include that buy-in language within the document. So that's going back to be edited, and then we'll give it another kick this next month, next week. Talked about an agreement for a new printer, fairly straightforward. The printers that we have are very old. So the commission approved that. Went through fund balance as standard operating manual, some edits to that based on the conversations we've had on that, and that one-time use essentially. And then give an update on the 2024 budget. Did I miss anything else, Brittany? All right. Any questions? All right, then we'll move to Public Works. Heidi.
Yep, thank you. We met on Tuesday, January 2nd. We had a pretty short meeting. We got an overview of Solar Edge for the solar panels on MSB, because we now will have data collecting on the solar energy we're producing as soon as, I guess, the snow melts off of them again. So that was exciting to see them up and running. And that's basically the meat of the meeting. We got a couple updates on a few projects that are ongoing, the street lighting for Clark and Grove. So unless Chris, John, or JJ have anything to add, our next meeting is February 6th.
They're all shaking their head, Heidi, so you covered it.
All right, thanks.
All right, Utility Commission, Chris.
We met on January 10th at 5 o'clock. The first thing we talked about was hiring the new Public Works and Utilities Director, which is John. Congrats, John. And then we discussed and considered SCADA system equipment upgrades. We approved that for $639,821, which I was told will be covered by impact fees. The current software is 18 years old, so it needs an upgrade. That passed 5-0. Engineers report, the Authentics complex warranty was signed for 5 years. Ridge Lift Station is going to get a presentation in February. Director's report, the mixer in the North Water Tower was down. I don't know if that got fixed or not. Not yet. Okay. And because of John's promotion, they are starting the process of hiring a utility superintendent. And approve the bills and set our next meeting. I don't remember what it was off the top of our head, but that's all we did.
All right. Any questions for Chris? Thanks, Chris. Next, then we had Plan Commission. I think this might have been a record. I don't know, though, unless you didn't have a meeting. We just met on the 10th of January, last week. The only item really of significance there was to vacate Highland Drive. This is the drive that this board approved for the Metcalf condo development on BB, where now New Tech and the other buildings are going to go. So they needed to vacate this drive that was splitting that property, which the Plan Commission approved. That was all there was. Any questions? I don't know, Aaron, if you want to add anything to that?
Just add, there's a notice requirement per state statute for the village board's final decision, so that's why that's not on this agenda. It'll be on the next one.
Thanks, Aaron. And that's about how long the meeting went. Any questions? The next one will be busier, so just wait. Then we move to reports from village officers. Rick, anything from your neck of the woods?
Nothing to report tonight. I just want to give you all a heads up at some near future meeting. I do want to just give an update on some liquor law licensing changes. Because there may be some policy decisions that the board may want to take, depending on how you feel about retail establishments for basically like brewers and distillers. So we're still looking at those law changes, and we want to sort of have an internal dialogue with my practice team, but want to present that to you just to see if there's any direction you want to give us.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Next, then, we have communication and miscellaneous business. First up is consideration of the vouchers. Any questions, comments, or consideration for a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the vouchers as presented.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second then. Any further discussion? Having heard none, all those in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Motion carries. Correspondence, I didn't have any. I don't know if any other board member did. Next thing, upcoming community events. I'm aware of, there's a Lions winter breakfast from 8 to 11 at Flynn Hall on February 3rd, for those that want to get a bite of breakfast from the Lions. Anybody else have anything else coming up? Hopefully it'll be a
John, I
little
just-
warmer.
Right, on warmer, I just wanted to acknowledge our community event of the freezing cold and the blizzard and thank all of our emergency services workers, police department, fire, EMS, crossing guards, that help keep the community safe in this cold weather. So, and Public Works removing all the snow and making sure we can travel safely. So thanks to all of them.
Thank you, Eddie. Well said. And I think everybody saw everybody out working. And I was just chatting with the fire department. They were extremely busy, unfortunately, due to runoffs and everything too as well. Future agenda items. Matt, I know you're on somewhere. I don't know if you have anything that you want to shout out, or Aaron, or. And maybe you're on mute. There you are.
I got to figure out my video. Sorry.
Put you on the
We
spot.
should have the amended financial management plan, or proposed amended financial management plan in time for the next meeting. So that'll be in your packets ahead of time.
All right. Thanks,
I
Matt.
think I think that's the main thing.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else, then we will I'll make the motion that the village board will go into closed session as requiring establishing the negotiated position for TID number 8, the Village of Cottage Grove. Board will enter a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, parentheses 1, or parentheses 1, excuse me, parentheses E, deliberating and negotiating the purchasing of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business wherever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, we've reconvened from back into open session. There's nothing to consider from the closed session items. Next then,
Motion to adjourn.
we have a motion and a second then to adjournment, non-debatable. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week. Stay warm.